Imagine it's 6 a.m. You're in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and you wake up here on the world's longest train, watching the most glorious sunrise, surrounded by nothing but sand. But where am I? And how did I get here? Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to Mauritania. I have been partnering with Rocky Road the last week, showing you some of the epic places around Mauritania, going on an off-roading adventure through the Sahara, through these crazy dune-like landscapes, and to some remote villages out in the middle of the Sahara Desert here. And it has just been one of the most remote expeditions, and we have spent the last 4 or 5 days driving to Choum, which is up on the northern border right near Western Sahara. And we have driven all the way here because tonight we are going to ride the world's longest train, the iron ore train, that is taking iron ore from deep in northern Mauritania to the Atlantic Ocean here to then be sent out and refined and processed and turned into steel all around the world. And the objective is in the middle of the night. We don't know when or where exactly, but there will be a train that comes along these tracks here. The cars are just loaded with iron ore, and we're gonna climb up onto the top of these rail cars and then ride that through the middle of the night, watching the sunrise above the Sahara Desert on our way to the Atlantic Ocean. It's gonna be one of the wildest and craziest adventures of my life for sure. Just one of the most extreme travel activities you can do. So I am super pumped to show you guys how we do this and when we do it. Again, we don't really know a lot of the details, but we're working with Rocky Road, who have been helping us arrange this and making sure we're going through all the proper channels to get on the train and ride this thing through the night. We've just arrived in Choum and we've had lunch, and we're hanging out at a little guest house here. And this afternoon we are gonna go check out one of the old abandoned train tunnels that the train used to go through. And then in the little tiny sleepy village of Choum, there were a couple of these iron ore cars here that are just sitting on the rails. So I just wanted to show you guys some of these, and maybe we can practice what it's gonna be like climbing up on top of these. So let's try. As I've just hiked up on top of this, and again, the longest train in the world will have about 2 kilometers worth of these, just shipping these rocks across the Sahara Desert. Yeah, anyways, we're gonna go back to the guest house here real quick, and we're gonna go check out one of the train tunnels. we have just driven probably about half an hour outside of Choum here, and we have come through one of the abandoned railroad tunnels that was part of this iron ore transport, taking it from the mines of Mauritania to the Atlantic Ocean. But what happened is right over this hill, like literally 50 feet, is Western Sahara, which was eventually colonized by the Spanish, and so these French colonies of Mauritania had the train going through Western Sahara, but when the Spanish came, they said they would have to either pay or prohibited the train to go through the Western Sahara territory, so they had to build this tunnel literally right along the border and then around and through, and it was 2 kilometers, and we ended up driving through the tunnel here, which was just fascinating to see. So now the train tracks have been completely removed, but this was how it used to be, and again, like right above this hill is Western Sahara, so that's pretty crazy. We have just walked a little ways into the tunnel here, but it's just about 2 kilometers. So yeah, very interesting. And again, there used to be train tracks that took you all the way here to Choum and then to the Atlantic Ocean. And here, there's just like a little bit of graffiti and stuff on the walls. So anyways, I think we're gonna jump back in the trucks pretty soon and head back to Choum and get all of our stuff ready for the iron ore train tonight. So yeah, let's go. That was fascinating, seeing the old train tunnel that this iron ore train used to go through. And now we have driven back to the little town of Choum. And like I said, this is like very unscripted. We have no idea what time the train is going to be coming, but our guides from Rocky Road and our local contacts here in Mauritania, they get contacts from further up the railroad letting us know, and we'll probably have about an hour warning once the train is coming and when we have to put all of our stuff on and prepare for the train ride through the night. And they say most likely that'll happen sometime in the middle of the night. So yeah, so we have a couple hours here in the afternoon. Again, there's not much to do in the town of Choum here, but we have a nice little guest house, and we're gonna hang out there, get all of our stuff ready, mentally and physically prepare for this insane journey through the Sahara. So yeah, I'll let you guys know when we know when the train's coming. So see you in a couple hours. While we're waiting, we've come up to the roof of our guest house and we're having a little dance party up here while we watch the sunset over the Sahara. Guys, it is just about midnight and we have just gotten the word that the train will be here between about 12:45 and 1 a.m. this morning right outside of Choum. So it is time to start packing all of our bags, getting our headscarves ready, getting our goggles prepared, because we're going to be jumping in the trucks at about 12:30, heading to the spot where we're going to be getting on the train for the night. So yeah, let's jump into action. It is just about 12:30 here and we have gotten all of our stuff packed up. We've gotten all of our scarves and goggles on. Pretty soon we're going to be jumping in the cars here and driving just down the road where we're going to jump on this train We have about 5 minutes while it stops and to throw all of our baggage up onto the thing and settle ourselves in before this train starts lurching forward. So I'm pretty nervous, to be honest, but excited. It's gonna be quite the experience. Alright guys, it is just after 1 a.m. here and the train has just arrived, and we have about 5 minutes to throw all of our bags up there and climb onto the train, so gotta hurry. Just jumped up on the train here. We have chucked all of our luggage and we are laying down on the iron ore sand beneath the railing here so that they won't see us as we sneak out of the town of June and embark on our journey across the Sahara on the iron ore train. About 12 or 14 hours on this train, but the first little bit will be here in the dark, and we just have these beautiful stars that are right above us as we're looking up. They've turned these mounds of iron ore into a flat spot for us here, put out a mat, and now we're free to like put down some sleeping bags and sleep here, but we're just going to be staring up at the night sky for the next couple hours until the sun rises in a few hours, but this has just been epic. We're just rolling at a gentle like 30, 40 kilometers an hour. 10 in the morning here, so we've been on the train for roughly 9 or 8.5 hours, and everyone is just passed out. It's just so peaceful here on the train, and everyone just like lulls asleep, and it just feels like we're in a very cinematic movie. We have all of this hazy sand just kicking up and dust kicking up from the train, and it just has this nice rhythm to it, lulling us to sleep, and just sitting under the sun of the Sahara Desert here, just watching the desert just whiz by. And again, everyone is just passed out. It feels like we have wagon full of horses that are just rolling through the Sahara Desert. Stop here. I don't know exactly why. It could be that another train will be passing us on the other tracks here, which would be really cool to see a train pass during the daylight with a couple passed us during the middle of the night. We've been waiting here for about half an hour, but we do see a train finally coming on the horizon here, so it should be passing us in just a few minutes, which would be pretty cool to see just the length of this train that can be up to like 2 or 3 kilometers long. This other train that's going by us is actually empty because it's coming from the Atlantic Ocean, from the harbor there, and the one that we're on is coming from the mine, so it's full of the iron ore and being taken to the Atlantic Ocean. And here we're seeing the train going back empty, which will then be filled up, and then the cycle will be repeated as iron ore is brought back to the Atlantic Ocean here. So yeah, interesting to see the process. And most of the railway here is a single track, so there are just a few of these places where the trains can cross each other, which is why we had to wait a while for this one to come. But yeah, amazing to see. It's been going by for a few minutes and it just keeps on going this way. So if you can just really see how long these trains are. The train just started again, but every time it restarts, it just lurches forward and it just knocks everyone to their feet. So you gotta be careful you're not on the sides or the edges there. But yep, the train just passed and now we're gonna keep carrying on. Has brought out the boombox, so it's turned into a bit of a dance party here on top of the iron ore train. Woo!
Calling me
Alright guys, we have just passed the 56-kilometer mark, and right on this side of the train tracks we have Western Sahara, and then over here Mauritania. And again, it's just amazing how much nothing there is out in this desert. For like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, we've just seen nothing. A few little settlements, a few little like tents here and there, but besides that, it's just been sand as far as you can see. And we are just turning onto the peninsula here where Nouadhibou will be, and the Atlantic Ocean should be appearing before us pretty soon. We should be seeing some water, but again, we probably have about 50 kilometers left. So. We just had our little briefing on how we're going to get off the train. We have about 15 more minutes riding the iron ore train. We have been on here for about 13 or 14 hours at this point. So yeah, it's time to pack up all of our stuff, and then we'll be jumping off the train a little bit before we hit the city. So yeah, let's get everything together. Train has come to its conclusion here. We're jumping off, throwing our luggage off to our truck here, and that concludes our train journey. So let's get off the truck. We have just completed our 14-hour journey on the iron ore train across the Sahara Desert of Mauritania from Choum to the Atlantic Ocean here. And what an epic journey, starting out under the night sky, seeing all of the beautiful stars and the moon. And that was a couple hours of some restless sleep there, but just a beautiful night under the night desert sky. And then just hours and hours of absolutely nothing but sand, and we passed like a few tiny little villages, a few tiny tents, but just what an epic adventurous experience. So thanks to Rocky Road for putting this together, for arranging everything to make sure we had all the drivers and all of the preparations that we needed to do the iron ore train. That is something I will never ever forget. Just an unbelievable experience. It felt like we were in a movie the whole time, and just look how dirty we are. There's no way you can stay clean as all of that iron ore dust is just swirling through the air as you're whipping through the Sahara Desert. So anyways, we got to load up the truck and get some showers in, but that about wraps up our time in Mauritania here. What an epic way to see some amazing parts and some historical parts of the country, and then finishing up with this adventurous tour through the Sahara Desert on the iron ore train. So yeah, thanks again to Rocky Road. Hopefully you guys can do something like this in your lifetime. It was just an epic experience, one we will never forget. So let's jump in the cabs and get a shower.